Hello loves, it's Destiny Taylor of TheMamaGreen. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, what's up? Thank you for joining us today. A few disclaimers before we get started. This is my first time filming in my new apartment, and I believe this is the busiest my background has ever been. I hope you can see my hair okay, but if it is distracting, I am always open to feedback. You can let me know in the comments and I'll figure out another place to film in my home that's a bit more simple. But you know what? While you're here, let me just show you around a bit. Here are some of my favorite sections of my new apartment. I live in Los Angeles. I found an amazing still. It is in the city, so if you hear noises, I hope you gracefully invite it into our experience together, because it's just one of the qualms of being a girl from the Midwest in a city living her dreams. All right, so in today's video I am giving an update on my Microlocs. So this is titled my 1-year update, but I have had my Microlocs for going on 18 months, which is absolutely bananas. If you follow my YouTube shorts, or if you follow me on Instagram, you got that 1-year update exactly on April 4th. So if you do not follow me on Instagram, or if you don't have your notifications on for this channel, I highly recommend you follow and turn those on so you never miss a beat. And on Instagram, I am giving pretty much daily updates on my Microlocs. And I also have a broadcast channel that I started where I'm sharing resources and different things I'm learning and loving within the Microloc community. What a year it has been. I can start by sharing that this was the best hair decision I have ever made. I would not go back. I would be lying if I didn't say that there have been parts of my journey thus far where I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'm a bit nervous about how things are looking, but that always passes over, and I'm always assured that, wow, like my hair is beautiful, it's gorgeous. I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now and I'm like, okay girl, your hair looking good, you looking good. This video is very organic. I just decided to pop up my camera. I didn't plan, I did jot down some notes, so we're just going to go with the flow. If you're interested to know all the details on my locks, my lock count, how my locks were installed, things like that, I have those videos down below in my first comment. Let's delve into all of the things I love about my Microlocs and why this was the best decision for me, and also how it has impacted my lifestyle and me on a deeper level than the surface. So for a lot of people, their lock journey is a very spiritual journey, and they decide to get locks for internal spiritual reasons. To be honest, for me personally, I decided to get Microlocs for very practical reasons and for aesthetics. I like my hair to look good, to feel good, and I've always admired Microlocs. And from the moment I saw someone for the first time with Microlocs IRL, that is when I decided I was going to get this style, and that was, I believe, back in maybe 2019. But she just looked beautiful and so free while I was wearing my braids and they were slipping, and I was afraid to do certain water activities because I didn't want to mess them up. And then for maintenance, I had been installing braids and faux locks for years, and I was tired of my hair looking old within 2 weeks and me having that urge to continue to redo them. And also I work out a lot and do a lot of yoga in particular, and having those heavy extensions just was not a good look for me in my sweaty state. So again, the reason I wanted my locks was very simple, very practical. Some may say very vain. I don't care, because they look good. But I can say that throughout the months, this has been a much more deep and rich experience than I initially expected it to be. I didn't realize it at the time, but deciding to lock my hair was a pretty like monumental or big moment in my life, especially as a Black woman. I have not embraced my natural hair or existed and lived with my natural hair as long as I have since I started this journey, since I was a child still getting barrettes in my hair. I've always worn weaves, wigs, and extensions, covering my hair, protecting it, and this is the first time I am just wearing it every day throughout all occasions, to work, working out, on dates, a night out with friends. I'm feeling fun, flirty, confident, professional, sexy, all with my natural hair, and I had never experienced this before. And what's interesting is I've always found so much confidence through the expression of my hair, being able to be so versatile and to find different versions and expressions of me through extensions, colors, styles, etc. But having this style, this one simple style every day, I've just felt so empowered. It was a missing piece. It was a missing piece of me fully feeling confident and accepting myself and seeing myself. Me accepting the natural state of my hair has rippled into other areas of my life. I'm just at a state now where I'm loving my hair, I'm loving the skin that I'm in, like I am loving my body. Your girl's been in the gym for some years and it is paying off. I adore how I show up in the world and how I'm crafted. So that was an ode or a love letter to my Microlocs and the deeper way I have experienced them. Another thing that I love is this is a standout hairstyle. It's a conversation starter, and for me, my hair has always been intro to connection with others, so I'm very happy that I am able to do that with my Microlocs, with my natural hair. I used to think that I needed very long bundles, very long braids. I used to think that I needed voluptuous wigs or bundles or very long intricate braids in order for someone to see my hair and for my hair to pique interest. This style is very intriguing to others because there aren't many who have made the commitment to get tiny locks. And I've realized there are so many women who are considering this style and are scared to take the leap. That's where most of my conversations are. So that's all the feel-good stuff. Let's get into the real. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, because y'all, this has been quite a journey. Highly recommend you watch my Microloc playlist to get more detail into the things that I'm talking about. But if you have been following my journey, you know that for my first 4 to 5 months, I had a really difficult time with my Microlocs, particularly with slipping and unraveling of my locks. Now, I do work out pretty much every day. I sweat a lot. I do a lot of hot yoga, and when I started my locks, I did not do the research that I should have done, and I did not go to a loctician who was very experienced. I realized after my second retie that I was only her second client, which is okay, but with that, I didn't have the proper maintenance education for my lifestyle, so I was just going on about my days, how I usually would live, and I needed to make some tweaks for my Microlocs because my hair gets wet or damp every day, and I have to wash my hair at least once a week. That is not ideal for starter locks, so that's why my hair looked like this by, I believe, my second month. But we got that together. I have a full video on that linked down below, and the solve for that was braiding and banding. I kept my hair in those things pretty much every day. I stopped braiding and banding religiously, I believe, in March. So that was like 11 months in. Yes, I did pause because I was no longer experiencing unraveling and slipping to the same degree, but also I noticed that my locks had been in a pretty stretched state for the most of my journey, and they began to lock up, and with that they were more thin than I expected them to be. I feel like I caught it at a good time where my hair still had room to shrink a bit and get a bit more dense, get a bit more volume. Ends of my hair particularly had stretched so much where I had to pull off or cut off a few just because they were way too thin. Here, I can show you like this one here. See how it just gets thin there? So if you're braiding and banding, be mindful that you are stretching your hair, and I know we want our hair to be stretched so we have the most length possible, but that can also cause your locks to be very thin. If that's what you want, go for it. But me personally, I wanted a bit more thickness so I can get the volume that I want. My hair was also like flat and it looked thinner, and someone even called me out on Instagram and was like, I think you're stretching your hair a bit too much. And I was like, I was a bit salty at first, but then I was like, you know what, sis, I'm gonna take that feedback, and I think you're right, and I think you're right. I almost forgot this. So I had started to experience bunching when I was dealing with all the mess of my locks slipping and unraveling, and before I began to braid and band my hair. So when I started to braid and band my hair, it began to smooth out my locks and reform them to be more uniform. But my locks were still uneven and a bit bunched up. A lot of people will tell you to either go and get that repaired or to take out your locks. Now, I'm not going to draw any conclusions and say what is correct, but I can say for my hair, the bunching has smoothed out as my locks have begun to lock together. So for instance, all of these locks back here, I wish I had a video, I'm gonna try to find one. All of these locks back here were bunched up and super uneven. But as they've started to just lock together, they've just smoothed out. And when your hair locks, it sort of locks in different areas of your hair. So it's not going to start at the bottom and go up, and it's not going to start at the top and go down. A lot of times it'll start in the middle, and when your hair locks, it doesn't immediately go to be compact. It'll sort of gather together, it'll swell a bit, and then it will go together. So with one lock, experiencing different phases of that process at different areas of the lock is going to probably look a bit crazy. Like, a lot of these that I have now are very, very smooth. You wouldn't even be able to tell that these were crazy bunched up. I have made some mistakes. When my hair started to lock up, I noticed that it didn't have as much shine. It looked a bit more dull, which of course my hair is essentially matted together, and I'm not using all of these different products. But for me, experiencing my hair in that state for the first time, I freaked out and felt that my hair was extremely dry. So what I did then was begin to experiment with conditioning products and not just using my tried and true shampoo and rose water and rosemary and thyme tea blend that y'all have been asking about. So I started to use some light oils on my hair, and I also started to use a water-based conditioner. So For the oils, I stopped using the oils. It weighed my hair down even though it was a lightweight one. And also I just felt that it was breaking out my skin. I didn't need it. And it also attracted much more dirt and debris. You know, I'm living in the city. There's dirt, dust, and everything flying everywhere. And I just felt like it was just, my hair was a magnet for that when I was using the oil. And then when I started to use the conditioner, let me tell you, I did love how it made my hair look and how it made it feel. I did get some of that shine back and some of the softness back to my hair. However, some of my locks did begin to unravel at the end, actually a significant amount, which I know for some people they want their locks to be curly and coily at the ends, which I'm not going to be mad if some of these little coils like this one decides to stay. I'm not going to be mad about that. However, where I went wrong is I did not ensure that all of the conditioner was washed out of my hair. So when I do start using conditioner again, I'm going to go to my loctician. Like when I get my Retie, I will have her wash my hair and use conditioner so she can see every single lock and ensure the conditioner is out of the hair, because I do have some buildup on some of my locks. I've gotten a lot of it out, but I'm finding more and more locks where that has happened. I did dye my hair black at one point, and I do think that that sort of camouflaged a lot of it. I'm just hoping it's none in the back of my hair, but I would never know because I don't really look at the back of my hair. So those were some learnings. I know I dropped this in sweetly, but yes, I did dye my hair black. I used a dark and lovely jet black dye that I just picked up from CVS. I did it maybe at about 14 months. It honestly looked gorgeous. The color has faded a lot, which I'm a bit sad about. I think I'm going to dye my hair again maybe in 5 months. But when I tell you, black dye on locks has the same effect that it has on your natural hair. Like, it just looks healthier, it looks more uniform, it looks more polished, shiny, hydrated. I loved it. The first month after I dyed my hair, it was banging. You couldn't tell me anything. It looked so good and I got so many compliments. It looks good now, but I have my natural 1B and like lighter brown ends, which I think when you have locks, it just looks kind of unintentional. But that black was fire. Going on to my reties. Again, if you followed my journey, you already know what's up. I do recommend that you watch my previous videos. It's not too many of them, but just to summarize, I started with a loctician, and then I stopped using that loctician, going to that loctician. I started self-maintaining. I then went to another loctician, and she was good. She did retie my hair a bit too tight, but what was difficult for her is she wasn't as flexible. She was very strict. She was like, you know, you have to come every 4 weeks or the price is going to go from $175 to, I think she said the price would go up to like $230 or $240 by the way my hair grows. And I just needed more flexibility, and I respected how strict she was with her schedule, but I wanted a bit more grace. So I self-maintained again, and then it just got to the point where I could no longer do my hair myself. When I first got my locks, I was taking a break from corporate and I was working for myself full-time, and in August I got another corporate job, and I've also propelled my business and have been taking yoga trainings, etc. Needless to say, I just didn't have time to do my own locks, and it got into a point where I had a difficult time retying my full head, and it was to the point where I had a whole middle section that did not get retied for 16 14 weeks. So I was like, you know, I have to go to a loctician. I can't maintain my hair myself. And I found the most sweetest loctician. I believe I just had my third retie with her. She has so much grace. She used to have Microlocs herself, and she has been maintaining other people's locks and her own locks for years. And she works in a black shop with other hairstylists, from barbers to people who do braids, etc. So the environment is amazing, and she does a great job of my hair, and she's very affordable. Her base price without the wash, which she does offer the wash, base price without the wash is $125. You add in the wash, I believe it's $150. So quickly want to chat about retie method. So I started with 4-point method, then I went to 2-point method, went back to 4, was doing 3 for a bit, then did 2, and I told my loctician to do 3, but I don't know if she's doing 4 at this point. I'm just honestly letting her do what she does, because my hair looks great, and I think last time I forgot to tell her to do 3-point. So if she's doing 4, I'm gonna just go for it. Now I know that is a Microloc absolutely no, and that would make people cringe and like start typing and go off on me in the comments. But what I can say about my experience and my hair is, yes, I have had holes in my locks from switching retie methods. I've also had holes in my locks from my 2-strand twists forming together. At the present moment, I do not have any holes in my locks, and I have not repaired any of them. Everything's locked together. I don't have any more holes in my locks, so I'm just going to put that there. I'm not going to draw any conclusions. I also want to say that my hair has just given me a lot of grace, and I'm so happy that I am just going with the flow of my own journey and figuring out what works for me. Now I'm going to talk about one of the bad habits that I've gotten that I am working to Control Alt Delete from my life. From braiding and banding, I have mini locks that are thin at the end, and I've picked up the habit of just pulling my hair. Like, I'll get bored and I'll rip it out. It's so impulsive, like when I used to bite my nails when I was younger, or when I used to pop my pimples. So it's one of those impulsive things that irritates me, and I'm like, why do you do it? But I haven't shook the habit just yet, but I'm looking forward to not doing that anymore, because I know that that's probably creating an unnecessary experience with my locks, and I can just, once my hair is fully locked, I can just cut it later. Another bad habit I have is I'll just be in the car and I'll just be like touching and twirling my hair. And that's not good either, because it's pulling my hair, it's messing with the pattern. I'm adding oils and, you know, other things that I've touched in my locks, and I just don't need that. So that was my update on my Microlocs, what I'm absolutely loving, and all of the things that I've learned, and the challenges that I've had, and things that I have adjusted and switched throughout this almost 18 months. I hope you enjoyed. I've been getting a lot of questions on Instagram and TikTok about my locks, and I want to do a Q&A. So if you have any questions that you want answered, please drop them in the comments, and I will include them in my QA video.